Welcome, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining myself, Paul Morgan, and Crescendo on this webinar this afternoon on how to speech enable SystmOne. So just to give you an idea of what we're going to be going through, it's going to run through a brief introduction, and then we're going to look at a case study demonstration from one of our clients, and then I'm going to do a presentation, live presentation into SystmOne of the Dragon medical system, and then we'll have a sort of closing information session followed by a Q&A. If anybody's got any questions as we go through the webinar, please feel free to use the notes just to type up some questions. So if you think of things as you go through, we can cover those off at the end. So who are Crescendo? We're Dragon's elite partners in the UK, and we're also part of the TPP SystmOne partner program and have been for about 8 years now. We are the largest provider of Dragon medical speech recognition in the UK, although we are a global company and boast over 2.5 healthcare sites across the world. So why speech enable SystmOne? Well, we have a lot of customers that report back saving up to an hour a day using the system. Is popular feedback that we get, but also improving the quality, quantity of clinical documentation. So covering yourselves better medico-legally, and with obviously open access to patient records. I think it's more important than ever that notes are up to date and yeah, like I say, as good a quality as they can be. It is also possible to use what we call auto text in patient notes. So things like safety netting or anything else that's repetitive, you can actually set up trigger statements, trigger words to action statements, should I say. And you can then obviously hopefully join the tens of thousands of other healthcare workers that use Dragon Medical. So this is a brief introduction. This is Dr. Barry Solomon. He's a GP in Ballon, and this is a short video of his experience of using Dragon. So it's just a couple of minutes, but it just gives you an overview of one of our users and their experience.
My name is Barry Solomon. I'm a GP in East London. I use Dragon Dictate for my digital triage as well as in EMIS, and as well as for Teams, and as well as for my emails. Dragon Dictate really delivers to me benefits, I think, on 4 different areas. The first area, which everybody's telling you about, is the saving of time. That's true, because instead of having to type something, you just speak it, and every time you do that, you're saving 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Once you're dealing with, say, 30, 40 digital requests, that easily racks up the time together. So there's no doubt that you're going to save an hour. That's beyond doubt. But really, for me, it's not the time savings that are the benefits of this system. For me, the benefits from this system are primarily that when I complete a consultation, I'm a touch typist, so I can type at 50 to 60 words per minute, and I've been doing it. I've been typing for 15 years. But I've noticed that when I use Dragon Dictate, what happens is that part of my brain that I didn't realize was controlling my fingers is freed, and I can just concentrate on the clinical issues. I can just concentrate on trying to join the dots together, trying to understand what is actually wrong with this patient and what should I do about them. And because I'm able to focus my mind and not waste it typing, the comment section in EMIS is not only verbose, it's much more clearer to others, and it also allows me to formulate my plans and formulate my thinking, and the quality of the consultation improves. So for me as a clinician, I know that my consultation quality has improved because about 15% of my brain that was typing is now, all of my mind is just thinking. I'm just completely thinking, and whatever I want to say, I just type it and I speak it, and it gets typed.
So that's just a few words from Dr. Solomon. I'm now going to actually go into SystmOne and run through a demonstration. So Okay, so obviously here we have system one. This is what we call a voice bar at the top here. And this is where you can set up some of the customization, which we'll look at as we go through the demonstration. Just to give you an idea today, lots of people have tried speech recognition historically, and probably one of the issues, if you have, that you can record, is having to read to Dragon for a length of time to get it used to you. Today, these speech engines got AI technology embedded into it and deep learning. It uses intelligent context to not only analyze what you're saying before it actually types, but also where words sound the same but are spelt differently, it typically gets those right as well because of the use of clever context. There is no training option today. It is literally load the software, switch on, and you'll get 98, 99% accuracy. What we've also done is written a lot of commands for system one, so you can actually navigate your system as well as obviously turn speech into text. Not something that you have to do. Obviously, you still got your mouse, still got your keyboard, all of those things still work. However, in situations where you get possibly people with RSI or similar, and you have limited use of the keyboard, then the voice commands work very nicely. But I'll use a few just to give you an idea during a demonstration. So here we go. Open patient. Consultation. Patient presented in surgery with malaise and joint pain over the last week, full stop. He is known to have suffered bouts of rheumatic fever in the past, full stop. Tab. Splinter hemorrhages of his nail beds and red cells on urine microscopy, full stop. Blood cultures confirm Streptococcus viridans infection, full stop. G-line. Normal heart examination. BP 140 over 80. Code that. Subacute bacterial endocarditis. Code that. New line. Rheumatic. Go down to. Code that. Tab. This patient has been on 50 milligram benzyl penicillin injections for the past 2 weeks, full stop. New line. Safety net. So just switch off briefly. Obviously, during that consultation, during putting those notes in, you'll notice a couple of things that happened there. The instruction to code is what we call a command. So just prompting the system to do the SNOMED coding is obviously very, very important. I'd also used a couple of text commands there. So when I said normal heart examination, rather than typing that, it's actually dropped in a standard bit of text for me, as you can see here. Now these are really very, very simple, easy things to set up, but obviously add to the time-saving aspect of the system. In fact, they're so easy to set up, I'll actually show you how you can do one. So you have a number of menus and sub-menus on the toolbar. However, I find it much easier to tell the system what I want to do. So I want to produce a new text command. So I'm going to switch on, add new command. COVID advice. Patient presented with symptoms of COVID-19, full stop. His symptoms are high temperature, loss of taste and smell, and feeling generally weak, full stop. I have advised the patient on isolation guidance. Full stop. That was more my dictation rather than the system. So I'm just going to save that. Go back into the notes here. New line, COVID advice. And that's how you can set up in pretty much the same sort of time as it takes to actually dictate within your notes. You can set yourself up a command to action that particular bit of text. When it comes to things like referrals, obviously an awful lot of doctors dictate their referrals letters, and then obviously they go off to the admin team for transcription. Obviously, when you introduce speech recognition, there is the opportunity to do away with some of the typing in the back office. But I do tend to find that introducing GPs to the word wizard in SystmOne, for example, that's quite a time-consuming activity. And, you know, a lot of doctors just want to dictate and get on with the day job, don't want to extend or sort of add any more time to what they do. So what a lot of my clients do is a doctor using a simple task. Oops, sorry, wrong button. So if I wanted to create a task, the task could be a mixture of instruction and body of text. But what I want to do here is, rather than dictate it into a dictation system or a tape for transcription, I'm just going to task it through to my secretary. So let's just fire off a referral. Referral to cardiology, full stop, new paragraph. Dear colleague, common new paragraph. This 74-year-old gentleman presented in surgery this morning with hypertension, blurry vision and central chest pain, full stop. Episodes normally last 3 to 4 minutes, and on occasions he complains of pain radiating down his left arm, full stop. New paragraph. I would be grateful if you could see him in your clinic as soon as possible, full stop. New paragraph. Yours sincerely, comma. So then obviously I can just run my eye over that now, if I wish, just to make sure that everything's okay. And then I can just task that off. And then obviously it doesn't need to be transcribed. The admin team can produce the document and then just copy paste the body of the text into that referral. So that is one way. Obviously, if you are used to producing your own documents, then of course you can dictate directly into not just Word, but typically any application that has an active cursor. So those of you who are using systems like AccuRx and doing notes, patient notes in there, you can use the system in there as well. Obviously, with the introduction of electronic referrals and templates and ARDN's templates, which a lot of people use, again, it is possible to dictate directly into templates. And with templates, I often find they require clinical input, so it tends to be the clinician that is producing those. And typically, again, you'll have shortcuts up on your toolbar to the most popular templates you use. But then when I've been training doctors, I tend to watch them searching down here for a particular template or going into large menus and sub-menus trying to find a template. With SystmOne and Dragon, it's possible to voice enable these templates, as you don't have to go off and search for them. So as an example, if I say assessment template, that voice command has called up the template for me. Obviously, there is a lot of tick box and drop down menu type actions in templates, and we suggest that obviously you just use your mouse to do that. I mean, they're there to make things quicker. That's what they're designed for, so you just use those in a normal way. But when we come to using text boxes, you just place your cursor in the text box. 74-year-old gentleman took a fall in his residential property, sustaining an undisplaced fracture of the left pubic ramus, full stop, new line. I have referred him to the pain management clinic and await ongoing treatment plans, full stop. You can just dictate directly into templates as well. Okay. So that gives you a brief overview of how the system works within SystmOne. Yes, there's the option to have a free, absolutely no obligation 30-day trial. Quick and easy to install, especially with the cloud version. The locally loaded one is just a download and an install of the software. The cloud version does have full reporting, so you can see and report on how much your users have been using it during the trial, so you can get a full return on investment report shortly after. Again, I'm getting lots of reports that referrals are going through the roof. Now things are easing a little bit. So possibly the idea might be, you know, enter into a trial to clear some of those backlogs. Okay. And just to mention, with the cloud version, there is also the option of a Power Mic app for smartphone, which turns your smartphone into a microphone. So if you're working in multiple locations, you've got one device and you can work pretty much anywhere without having to worry about dragging a microphone around with yourselves. There is a link in the chat to actually book yourself a trial if it's something that you want to do, and obviously we welcome that.
Cloud software, does it work? Is it fully GDPR compliant for the patient? Yeah,
of course, yes. So yes, obviously, I mean, especially the cloud version is more used in sort of large hospital environments. So yes, it's all covered off for IG, SOP and GDPR purposes. It's fully secure, and there's a full documentation to cover that as well.
Okay. Let me see if I've got some other ones come through. I think you did answer this one, but someone's asking if it works with Accurix.
Yes, yeah, I mentioned that. Accurix was something that Dr. Solomon was particularly mentioned during the full video webinar that we had with him about how much more he can put into a patient message, rather than before when he was typing it was very short and maybe a link to something that you can read on the internet. It was a lot more yeah, so a lot more comprehensive.
Someone's asked with the trial, what's the setup process for that?
So distribution of the software is all electronic on either version. So the software would be sent out via email for either installation or download and installation, depending on which type you wanted to trial. Once it's installed, we would arrange some team sessions with your GPs for training, typically 45 minutes to an hour. But it is a really important part of implementing a speech system, because as you saw, there is a lot of customization involved. So to get the best from it, we really would require the users to you know, just give us a bit of time to set it up. And further on from that, with implementation, generally, rather than sort of doing a screen share type session, I typically get a clinician to share their screen, so they're actually doing all of the customization bits and getting used to coding and whatnot. And we can talk about workflow of templates, how you're going to handle the referral process. So yeah, those implementation bits are really important.
Okay, great. And then you've lightly covered this. Two-part question. One's, do we need local help desk involvement? And then we've got a couple saying, is there a charge to it? If so, what is it?
Okay, so you can require admin rights to install the software. So you may, again, different areas, it very much depends. Typically, you won't be in an area where your IT people haven't come across a crescendo. Lots of the ITP support guys out there know us in various areas. So yeah, it's just admin rights. And typically they're not going to charge you for that.
Oh, sorry, the question was about the
Oh, sorry.
software. Is there a cost to the software? Someone who joined late.
So yeah, obviously there's software license costs. So a license for the local version of Dragon is a one-off cost of £999. License cost is scalable depending on numbers, but obviously that's a discussion that we could have. The cloud-based software is £699 as a annual subscription.
Okay, great. And someone else has asked, can it work in remote consultation at home?
Yeah, you can have the software at home. Obviously, if you've got access to SystmOne at home, then yes, absolutely, you can use it from home. Either version of the software will allow you to work from where you need to work. So if you need it on your NHS laptop, or you've got branch surgeries, or your hot desking, or indeed, as that user suggested, they wanted to work from home, that's all possible.
Perfect. Okay, I think that's all the questions we've got, finishing a couple of minutes early.
Oh, that's not so bad. Obviously, up on the screen there are our contact details, telephone, email. There are some videos on the website, which is displayed there as well. So if you wanted to go away and sort of show colleagues, you're welcome to visit the website and go to the video section. If you're again, if you're on the webinar and maybe you want other colleagues to see this, please contact us. We can arrange one-to-one demonstrations via Microsoft Teams. So if you want to have a more in-depth look, or you've got sort of more specific questions, but more importantly, you want other clinicians to see it, feel free to email us or call us, and we can arrange a one-to-one demo for you. So I think that is 1 minute to go. So just gives me time to thank everybody for joining the webinar. A brief apology for the mix up with the PowerPoint bit in the middle, but yeah, we just goes to show it's live. But yeah, thanks ever so much, everybody, and I welcome hearing from you regarding trials or additional demonstrations. Okay, thank you very much.